What's interesting about this law is that it requires you to report information to the federal government on top of the state government. And there's a lot of personal information that you need to submit to them. You submit it to FinCEN, which stands for the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network. It's a branch of the U.S. Department of the Treasury. And the scary thing is that if you don't comply with this new law, you can face up to $10,000 in fines and or 2 years in jail.
The Corporate Transparency Act. So maybe Ted, you want to kick this off? What is it? Why do we need to know about it? And give us some of the bullet points here.
Yeah, for sure. So the Corporate Transparency Act, as my dad has already mentioned, it's a new federal disclosure law that no one's talking about. So a lot of these federal regulations target big businesses. But what's unique about the Corporate Transparency Act is that it goes after the small businesses. If you have under 20 employees, if you have holding companies, things of that nature, you're going to have to comply with the new law. So the Corporate Transparency Act, it took effect on January 1st of 2024 this year. And it requires 30 million small businesses in this country to report information to the federal government. So when you have an LLC or a corporation, usually what you would have done is you just set it up with the Secretary of State. But what's interesting about this law is that it requires you to report information to the federal government on top of the state government. And there's a lot of personal information that you need to submit to them. You submit it to FinCEN, which stands for the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network. It's a branch of the U.S. Department of the Treasury. And the scary thing is that if you don't comply with this new law, you can face up to $10,000 in fines and or 2 years in jail. So the law definitely has some teeth with it. And unfortunately, there's a lot of small business owners out there who've been left in the dark about this new law. A lot of companies haven't reported their information. So it's really important that we're talking about it here, because the last thing that I want to happen is for innocent small business owners to get slapped with a penalty.
Yeah, so it really sounds, A, it's very serious, right? And B, it's happening. There's not a lot of awareness. This is why we're talking about it. And so went into effect 1/1/2024. It's requiring at the federal level for LLCs or different entities, so we can talk about which ones they are, to report who is the owner behind it, right? Who is the true owner, personal person, right? Not just entities. And as a way to all the different reasons, I don't know if it really matters at this point what the reasons are for why they want to do this, but if you don't comply, you're looking at fines of up to $10,000 probably per entity, I imagine, and up to 2 years of jail. Is that a fair summary, Garret, or anything else to add to that?
No, you're absolutely right, Brett. If you don't comply with this, it can be 2 years in prison. Now, they're going to make examples of people at the start. They're going to be, some guy in Idaho in the hills that doesn't want to do anything with the federal government. They're going to go after those kind of people, but they're going to start making examples of people who willfully disobey the law, and that will get everybody else to file. There is a lot of misinformation out there right now. People are claiming that after the election, this law will be repealed. There is not enough time after the election to repeal this law. If you have an entity that was set up in 2023 or earlier, you have this entire year to get the information into the federal government. I would not wait until the end of the year. There's going to be a rush at the end of the year to file this information. So you need to do this now, or at the very latest by the fall, because this law is not going to be repealed anytime soon.